Sorry, folks, if there was no audio there. Didn't test that out earlier. Hopefully, this is working now. And I just have a few words to say before we start properly. September 11th, 2001. I just begun my senior year in high school for TV tech class. Weeks before, having started working on a series where we interviewed World War II veterans for a Veterans Day series that would be broadcast on DCTV in November. This day, 9/11/2001, changed the entire course of not only how that production had to be done, re-interview our guests, but of history itself, of course. It was a day that, much like the JFK assassination before it, would be remembered by all who were alive for it by knowing exactly where they were and what they were doing when it happened. The days that followed were like a surreal dream of knowing what you saw actually happened, but still early enough to think it might be a bad dream you'll soon wake up from. Unfortunately, it was all too real, and the world we all woke up to on September 12th was a new and uncertain one for all of us. A world where unity was paramount above all else, and one that we as Americans could put our differences aside for the greater good of our nation. September 10th, 2025. A day before a National Day of Reflection and Memorial for the senseless loss of life 24 years prior. It started like any other day. The weather was also perfect here, and none of us had any reason to believe that it would be any different than yesterday. That feeling left as I was preparing to leave for work when my phone started getting countless messages. I had to go to the break room to check my phone when I read the text from my friends and subsequently watched the video of what had transpired. Charlie Kirk, political activist whom I followed for some time now, had been shot while holding one of his open debate forums at Utah Valley University. I saw it, and since then cannot unsee it. For the next 3 days, the image of it would dominate my mental landscape to where I could see it every time I would blink, much like the footage of the planes hitting the Twin Towers. Right then, without any answers, I knew this would be the second biggest watershed moment of my lifetime, not because one person's death means more than over 3,000, but because of the precedent as it has now set. That being the precedent that anyone can be assassinated for voicing their opinions, regardless of what they may be. Both days will go down in history as pivotal moments. Charlie Kirk was a man of his convictions, beliefs, and faith. While I did not agree with everything he said, most notably because I am agnostic myself, I still have nothing but respect for him and his willingness to drive to put his message out there and to openly don't debate anyone who would want to. He respected everyone despite their difference in opinions and always conducted himself with calmness and professionalism when debating others. He wasn't saying anything for shock value. He wanted an open dialogue for everybody and the freedom to have civil discourse. But in one moment, that idea was taken away from him, his family, and those who followed him. Senselessly and unprovoked, a coward who disagreed with him decided to silence that voice, to take away a voice of reason, an unreasonable version of the USA. But not just a voice, a son, a husband, a father of 2 children. It is a moment that will haunt me for years to come, and I will have to, excuse me, and also have me question where we go from here afterwards. Much like 9/11 due to the precedent that this now set. But I am here to say that moment will not falter me, nor anyone else who truly stands up for what is right in the world. Charlie's voice will not be silenced by this cowardly attack on our freedom of speech. We will continue to carry the torch he so proudly held, and will not abide such actions against it. President Trump had said that they aren't coming for him with violence. They are coming after all of us who stand for these rights, and he's just in the way. This message has now been made abundantly clear after this incident. Charlie wasn't a politician. He held no political power other than having a massive platform he built over the last 9 years of being a political activist. The writing is on the wall. Anyone with the quote-unquote wrong opinions can and will be targeted. We cannot and we will not let this happen. In the subsequent days following his assassination, how did conservatives respond? Did we riot? Did we set fires to public or personal property? Or businesses? Did we tear down historical monuments? Did we attack anyone with an opposing opinion just because they did and unprovoked as well? Of course, we did not. We responded with solidarity, candlelight vigils, and hope for a better tomorrow for our nation. This is the clear distinction between a party of people who can see reality for what it is and the opposite side who live as drones in the liberal hive mind, consuming the lies told to them and regurgitating them online, such as clips of Charlie and others like him when they are taken wildly out of context, which directly led to his cold-blooded murder in front of thousands of people in attendance and shared online. Our mission is clear. We must stand steadfast in the face of actual fascism, unbridled hatred for our Constitution, and irrational hatred based on lies spread by extremists that would rather see you killed than try to have a civil debate. Make no mistake, once again, they would do this to me, you, or anyone else they deem a threat to their warped version of reality. I'm here to say now to these pathetic cowards that you will not win. You made Charlie Ward's more powerful by making him a martyr, and you started a fight that you're incapable of fighting, let alone win. To all of you who share my sentiments, we will be strong, we will persevere, and we will never stop fighting. When you take away the best of us, you're left with the rest of us. This is a show, first and foremost, about our freedom of speech here. And Charlie's legacy will never die, thanks to him and others like us. Charles James Kirk, rest in power, knowing your message is not lost, and are now a testament to those of us who know that it came from a place of justifiable concern, logic, reason, and a love for the United States of America. Godspeed, sir. Welcome to the adult table, everybody. My name's Trav. I'm here joined with my co-host, as always, Joey Fats. And I hope you're all doing okay. How are you doing, Joey?
I'm okay. I think I'm good. It's been a rough week, no doubt. You know, I don't think most people, civilized people, we're not supposed to see things like what we saw 6 days ago. We're not supposed to see that kind of stuff. It can haunt people for a lifetime. Something as graphic and brutal as that.
Agreed. And this is coming from somebody who's watched beheading videos, so it's...
I mean, I still follow several Facebook pages of
but for some reason
untimely dying. But
this is different, though. Like this,
it's different on a lot of levels, and
we can get into that,
the differences as the show rolls along here. But I just want to say, first of all, very well stated to start the show, Trav. Thank you for that. That was an excellent monologue to open up.
Appreciate it. First thing I've ever written for this show.
Yeah. You and I both. I've been organizing my thoughts for the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 days now, based on knowing we were going to do this show tonight and kind of trying to just decide what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, things of that nature and whatever. And I've got some messages for the people that are on our side, that understand that there is no room for political violence in this country, or in any first world nation for that matter. I've got some messages for the people on the other side. The trolls that have been blowing up my Facebook account for the last 24 to 48 hours.
Yes, which I'm sure we're going to get into, of course.
Yeah, and I'm sure we will. And I've got two big double barrel middle fingers for them. Because they're stupid. Basically, they're dumb. As we know, they don't have a leg to stand on in this fight. And you, like you said in the monologue, this is a fight that you cannot win. Because we are the righteous ones in this situation. We are the ones that we have not cast the first stone in this fight. We do not live in glass houses. Therefore, you are fucked if you are on the other side of this. So
they cast the first stone years ago. And
the first stones we've been throwing, and we've just been sitting there just kind of taking it and
brushing it off
and being like, yeah, stupid people are going to be stupid.
And they get away with it with impunity. I mean, the summer of love. Like, we don't need to open that can of worms, but months of ridiculous shit that I brought up in what I wrote there, and
Yep.
it and there was no real consequences to be had of it.
Well, like you said, Trav, there was, we responded instead of burning cities to the ground over a career criminal overdosing on fentanyl while in police custody. Uh, we united in prayer and vigils and services, and not one Foot Locker was robbed or looted. Not one Apple store was broken into. Not one liquor store burned to the ground.
No
None of
fires
that.
were lit other than for the candles at said vigils.
Even though our now governor said that this is how forests grow. You need to burn things to the ground so the forest can grow, right?
Yeah, they'll fuck them too, but
Yeah, no, that was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard a politician say, and that's saying a lot because I've heard a lot of dumb shit from politicians.
yeah.
But this show, I think this episode of this show, it's going to be a little bit heavier, I think, than what people are accustomed to. There's no South Park review. I'm not going to go into, my thoughts and feelings on finishing up Twisted Metal season 2.
No, we don't need to talk about that.
None of that's.
I'm going to try to find some levity here and there where we can, where it's appropriate. But I'm not promising that it will happen at all. Me
neither.
Again, this is a free-form conversation show, folks. Primarily comedy-based, in the sense that maybe you find it funny. We think we're funny. But
we know
no, this is a different... Again, as I mentioned in the opening, this is a watershed moment for us right now. As a culture, as a nation. This is going to have some long-lasting... repercussions. To what degree, it is still unclear. But that precedent that they being the extreme left, I'm not saying every Democrat or everybody on the left, but the extreme left, they've made it abundantly clear that they do not value human life.
No.
To the point where if you disagree with them, they will gladly take the opportunity to take it away from you if they have the opportunity. That was redundant, but yeah.
So, where do we start? Obviously, we can start last Wednesday. You kind of already summed up. When you heard the news, your phone was blowing up. I was at work. My office phone started ringing off the hook, and people being like, "Yo, Charlie Kirk, like really?" And I had heard nothing about it until I was already at work. And then, the news, obviously, I'm cut off from the majority of civilization.
Right.
While I'm at work. So I didn't get a lot of information, if you will, as quickly as I normally would, or from places I normally would. It was a shot to the gut. No doubt about it. It was almost a surreal moment when I found out that, because I kind of went back to last July 13th when my wife, woke me up from a nap. Again, I had just gotten out of work and I was asleep, and I was taking a nap. After working a 16-hour shift, and I was dead, and she woke me up and she's like, "They shot Trump," and I'm like, and immediately I'm like,
"Yes."
Well, is he okay? Like, where was he shot? How? Like, is he dead? Like, are we? What's going on? She goes, "No, they think he's fine. He was carried off. He walked off the stage.
He stood up, and the best picture ever was taken.
And one of the most iconic photos in the history of politics was taken in the infamous fight stage. But for some reason, when I heard they shot, for some reason when I heard they shot Charlie Kirk, I didn't have. There was no sense of optimism there. This didn't, for some reason, there was no. I felt an immediate like pit in my gut that like, oh no,
this is bad.
This is going to be bad because
you'd have good reason to think that because
lucky with Trump,
and lucky. Insanely lucky, and also Charlie Kirk has security, but he doesn't have Secret Service, although that was the inept Secret Service Trump had.
Jesus Christ,
but he doesn't have that kind of detail, regardless of how much money he has. But I immediately thought of that too, and well, briefly, and then the news started coming in and everything else. I didn't really analyze, like, compare it with the Trump one that almost was successful until like hours later, like after I got home, and after I had heard that he had officially passed away, Charlie Kirk, that being, and then I was like, wow, they were that close to getting Trump last year. Like it.
That's right. We could have this very.
In what
video
world
could have
would
played out
it's
Donald Trump
bad?
on stage.
It is truly awful that this just happened. But what would have happened if Trump actually did get hit? And I'm not trying to take away from Charlie Kirk's staff.
And you're not, because it's a valid question. You know, I think what we saw with Kirk for a lot of us, and listen, I wasn't a big Charlie Kirk guy. I liked him.
Yeah, same.
I'll preface it with this: like, I liked him. I would watch his videos. But I get kind of bored with the almost the man on the street quiz shit. You know, where like they go to people and they're like, you know, can you point out Afghanistan on a map? And then, you know, they try to make everybody on, you know, who did you vote for? You know, and then point out Afghanistan on a map as if like those two things.
He was more of the have an open debate. Like, I don't think Crowder was the first to do it, but he was the one that popularized it, that changed my mind.
Well, I mean, if you want to go back as far, like, I mean, Milo Yiannopoulos or whatever.
Yiannopoulos, yeah.
He was one of the originals.
No, yeah, he was doing it.
And I guess he announced
Ben Shapiro was doing something similar, or at least holding talks.
Milo is coming out of retirement, so there's that. I guess he's going to take back over. He said, he goes, you guys, he goes, you thought you did good. He goes, you killed the good guy, you know, and then now the bitch is back.
Yeah, he's like, you thought I was gay before. Holy shit.
Yeah. So there's that, which is interesting, but nonetheless, my thing is, like, I was never a big Charlie Kirk guy. Like, I liked him. I enjoyed his work.
Yes.
I appreciated his work.
Yeah, I was never a huge I followed him, but I was never like,
of course.
Oh yeah, this is my guy. I was just like, no, he's got very valid points.
Yes.
I don't agree with everything he's saying, but I really respect where he's coming from, how he's handling himself, how he's having these open debates with anybody that wants to do it. And I really liked his responses for the most part, because he always was way more educated than them for the most and by and large.
I think, you know, and we talked about the South Park episode a couple of weeks ago, you know, with the master debater. Like, and they did the Charlie Kirk bit, and he
loved it.
He loved it. He thought it was hilarious.
He made Cartman as him, his profile picture on social media.
And he even went as far as to say, like, holy shit, like, Turning Point USA and my movement is so big, like, we made South Park. Like, that's...
Yeah, he took it as an honor.
It was a badge of honor for him.
And Trey and Matt have pulled it from streaming, or maybe that was Paramount's decision. And I understand why.
It was Paramount's decision. It had nothing to do with Trey and Matt.
Which I figured.
Decision, and they only pulled it from the, like, Comedy Central rerun list.
Okay.
It's still on streaming. You can still watch it on the streaming apps anywhere you get it.
Yeah, because they didn't do anything to try to draw any kind of negative attention to it.
No, they didn't do anything that would be...
It was a pretty lighthearted parody. Like, all things considered, the way they're going after Trump this season is way harder than they ever did with him in that one episode.
They just used Charlie Kirk because he was, and I guess it's like, shame on me, but I guess I didn't realize, like, how big and impactful Charlie Kirk really was. Like, I know
very big.
I know he was instrumental in Trump winning Arizona in the election, and for that I was very thankful, and I knew that, like, during the election cycle, and I realized it. But I guess because I never really, like, watched his stuff, I didn't realize how big he had gotten over the years. And maybe it's because I started watching him when he was in, like, his infant stages, if you will. And I never really, I don't know, like, I feel like I've known Charlie Kirk's name for a decade now. But I've just
been about that.
And again, I've just, like, I've never been like, oh, wow, yeah, like you said, like, he was never, like, my guy, if you will. And I'm not saying that to qualify anything, because I don't have to qualify anything about what we're going to talk about coming up here. At no point, like, I hate people that do it's a sports fan thing. All sports fans do this, right? Like, let's say, like, you're a Patriots fan and I'm a Broncos fan.
Yep.
And and the Broncos and the Patriots are, I'm a Dolphins fan, and they hate each other. The Dolphins hate the Patriots, and I hate the Patriots, and I can't stand them, and blah, blah, blah. But I'm a Dolphins fan, and me, as a Dolphins fan, I'm telling you, as a, not you in particular as a Patriots fan, but like as a third party, who, somebody who might be in the conversation, me as a Dolphins fan, I'm telling you, third party guy, that Tom Brady is the best quarterback to ever play the game, okay? And that's coming from me, a Dolphins fan. And I'm like, and that argument always pisses me off because like, why are the only thing you're using to qualify your opinion is what color of jersey you root for. You've presented me with nothing, with no facts, no reasons, no nothing other than I'm a Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you.
And they don't have to preface it with that they're a Dolphin. They can just say, "Hey, Tom Brady is the best quarterback."
Yes, and there's a billion different reasons why you could rattle off 1,000 reasons why he is, and I could probably rattle off 5,000 why he isn't. But you don't want to have that. But your whole basis of your whole argument is, no, bro, trust me, I hate the Patriots, and I'm telling you, Brady's the best. It's like, I don't care. There's no accountability in that statement. You have provided me with nothing, no information, no facts, no nothing. So your whole opinion is null and void to me. Like, like when Red Sox fans be like, yo, I'm telling you, bro, I'm a Red Sox fan, bro. Derek Jeter's the best shortstop of all time. Like, okay, cool. Why did you have to qualify it with you're a Red Sox fan? That doesn't matter. That shouldn't matter. So for me, I don't want to have to sit here and like pretend like I got to qualify the fact that I wasn't a big Charlie Kirk guy, or I didn't necessarily agree with, or I'm not a religious person, if you will.
Yeah.
So his whole thing was the Bible, and he lived his life by the Bible, and that's fine, and that's great.
Yes.
And if it works for you, great. I'm glad it works for you. But me, as somebody who is, I'm not going to say I'm religious. I'm definitely spiritual, in that regard. But I'm not. I don't necessarily like follow one religion or another. I never really took to that part of it. That part always that's where I always kind of got lost with these these bits, because I'm like,
well, because it's religious fundamentalism, regardless of the
religious guy.
Neither am I, having been raised
religion.
Catholic too.
I preferred like, the Dan Bonginos or the Ben Shapiros, the people that didn't bring up religion all the time, or whatever, whoever, Clay Travis, doesn't matter, whatever. Insert. Talking head here.
But at the same time, I don't think he ever said it or used it in a way that really was like offensive or harmful to others.
100%.
He just stated, he's like, here's my faith. My beliefs are based on this faith. Here's where I disagree with you. I still don't think you're a bad person. Let's have a conversation. And they'll have a conversation, and at the end of it, he's like, I still don't think you're a bad person. Like that.
Sure.
He was the most moderate, milquetoast conservative with this giant platform out there. Because as I mentioned earlier, like Steven Crowder was doing this format of debates before Charlie Kirk around the same time, and he's more snarky because he's actually a comedian and also a political analyst. Charlie Kirk is just a political activist, analyst, however you want to put it.
Both.
He said a lot of funny things, but he was never a comedian or had comedy being a leading factor.
No, he wasn't Steven Crowder.
No, he would say funny things when the opportunity was there. And
sure, he was
handling like a good stand-up would handle a heckler in a crowd.
Oh yeah,
he fucking held his own.
He had great singers and one-liners and little like digs here and there, and he was excellent at what he did.
But they were never
phenomenal at what he did,
and they were never like super mean-spirited. He was just saying it very matter-of-factual, and it was like, oh, I got you with that one. That sort of a feeling. So yes, even though I'm not religious at all, I still respect the fact that he was, and he didn't, use his faith and beliefs to truly take anybody down or use it in a very negative way whatsoever. Like, he never said anything bad about anybody from anything that I watch, and I've been digging through more clips now to try to see what these people are taking out of context, which again is exactly what led to him being murdered.
So let's start there. Let's start the discussion there then. Because I feel the same way, Trav, where I gotta say I'm equal parts disgusted and unsurprised at how much people have twisted his words, taken him out of context, and run with fake narratives in order to justify their dog shit behavior in terms of celebrating a man being literally shot in the fucking throat in front of, potentially hundreds of thousands of people when you take into account the internet audience. I mean, at this point, millions of people, tens of millions of people have seen the video. And you have these liberals on the left that are now playing the whataboutism game, and some of these internet the trolls that I'm getting into. I'll even send you I'll send you a link to the Instagram video that I'm featured in now on one of them. Or one of my posts is because when I said back on May 18th that Biden, when Biden was announced, Joe Biden had cancer, and I said bad hit for cancer, which I still think it's a bad hit for cancer. No cancer deserves that. But I said I don't wish death on anybody, but I'll be damn sure if I don't celebrate it. In that case, it's entirely different. I'm still awaiting his death. I haven't celebrated it yet, and not for nothing, but I will be celebrating it publicly. I wouldn't put that out on Facebook. I'm not going to create a TikTok video, tap dancing on Joe Biden's grave, although he deserves it because he's a pedophile and a piece of shit, unlike Charlie Kirk. But those are two totally different things. Somebody dying of natural causes, out of my control. I did not shoot a gun at Joe Biden to give him cancer.
Also
That's
correct.
Not something I'm capable of doing. Probably for the better.
Not one of those with one of those newfangled cancer bullets.
Yeah, with those new, if I inscribe "get cancer" on the shell, the bullet will give him cancer. But no, that's, to me, the justification on the left has been abhorrent. It's been disgusting.
Completely abhorrent. Disgusting.
It's been over the top. I mean, there are people, Trav, there are people that I thought we knew, you and I knew. And they're celebrating this. I mean, I've got family members that were celebrating this, and I'm like, let me catch you at Thanksgiving.
This is part of the reason why I'm happy to be having been banished to the shadow realm via Meta, because I'm not on there. I'm still seeing. I got some friends sharing some screenshots of some other former friends of mine sharing their disgusting comments, given the aftermath of this, and I'm like, well, one, I can't say I'm not surprised, and two, I was right about them years ago. Like, fuck these people. They don't care about anybody unless you're 100% locked into their ideology as well, and that's no way to live your life. You should have flexibility when it comes to, well, what you need to possess is critical thinking, and Correct. They just don't have that
at all.
So
they are the left is based, their whole ideology is based on emotion. That's all they have. That's all they have, because once you introduce facts, logic, and common sense to the equation, their entire argument comes apart at the seams, and they lose all credibility within a matter of literally seconds. Because as soon as you confront them with a fact, much like Charlie Kirk would do, they're left going, what? Like, I don't get it. And it's yeah, no shit, you don't get it. You never got it. You never will.
Not once, not never. It's such a shame that it's come to this. That now, again, as I mentioned before, this precedent is now set where if you're perceived to have the wrong opinion and somebody has the opportunity and the wherewithal to go and do something crazy, they might feel emboldened enough to do it.
Which and this is why I'm glad the federal government is not charging this kid, and they're only charging him at the state level, because Utah does have the death penalty, and Utah does have death by firing squad as an option on that death penalty.
You know what? If that happens, shoot him in the gut. That way he
I said
bleeds out slowly.
Start at the shins and work your way up.
Okay.
You know, and eventually give him the mercy kill. You know, when the timing is right. But no, make an example of this fucking cocksucker.
And make it public. He made Charlie Kirk's assassination public. And I'm not saying anybody should condone this or watch it either. This is just my personal feelings on it. Let me make that clear.
Show it in classrooms. This kid's execution should
I believe in capital punishment. I believe in eye for an eye. And I believe he wanted to make a statement with what he did. Let's make a statement to him. That's all I'm saying. It's just only fair to me.
Absolutely. Because for too long we've sat here and we've taken this bullshit on the chin, right? Like
and I'm not saying this happened to anybody that just speaks a different opinion. I mean this guy who murdered Charlie Kirk.
No. This guy who will be convicted of murdering Charlie Kirk in cold blood, publicly, in an assassination. Yes, he deserves the worst of the worst. He is up there with pedophiles and Skinners and everybody else. Like you are the worst of the worst. So you deserve the worst of the worst. This is not me saying that. I don't want to see anybody else. I don't want to see Cenk Uygur assassinated for doing a Young Turks AMA at some fucking, I don't know, name me Alabama Birmingham.
As much as I don't want to hear that fat piece of shit talk, I don't want him dead because of it.
I certainly don't. I don't wish him dead because
absolutely
of it.
Not.
Again. And that goes against Charlie Kirk's whole premise, and his whole point was to exercise the First Amendment. And all he did was bring arguments to people and do it in a way that was so much better than everybody else that they couldn't beat him. And when they couldn't beat him, they decided to shoot him. And I forget who it was with the quote. I don't know if it was a Game of Thrones quote or whatever it was, but it was like, when you rip the tongue out of a man, and accuse him of being a liar, you're not proving him to be a liar. You're just proving that you're afraid of what he might say. And
very true.
I mean, it's an age-old quote. I'm sure it's been around for generations, but it's true. Like if you cut someone's tongue out, you're not saying I'm not cutting your tongue out because no, he's full of shit. We can't let him talk. No, I'm just terrified of what that guy might say because it might expose me for being the real piece of shit here. And that's what they did to Charlie Kirk.
It's the same mentality as if we can't beat them with ballots, we'll beat them with bullets. And they literally prove that here too. But your analogy was fucking spot on too, brother.
So let me put it this way, right? We saw what happened. We know what we want to happen to this kid. We don't. I mean, realistically, the odds of him being in a highly televised pay-per-view execution event pretty slim to none. Although that would be great. And I think it would really send a message to people that, like, yo, we ain't playing this shit. Like, you want to fucking, go ballistic and block roads and put up signs and picket and protest and do your fucking thing. Like, all right, there's a moderate amount of that we're willing to tolerate. I mean, I think even now we're getting to our wits' end with most of that shit too. But we're willing to tolerate a lot of it. We are, the right, we have sat back for the last 10 years. We've watched Baltimore go down in riots. We've watched Seattle go down in riots, Minnesota, Minneapolis, Portland, numerous cities all over the country have burned dirt, for this, that, and the other thing, and whatever. And we're like, okay, unfortunately, some bad apples spoiled the bunch, but it is your right as an American to protest, and we understand that. Now, when you start blocking people from going to work, because for green energy or whatever, or justice for George Floyd, or I can't breathe, or whatever. When you start pissing off average Americans, you start impeding average Americans, the people that want to just go to work, that are apolitical. They want to go to work, make their money, come home, spend time with their family, and be done with it. When you start pissing them off, you start putting yourself on the fringe of things.
That's a silent majority. And guess who
And
won the 2016 election for Donald Trump? The silent majority. Back then we were tired of hearing it.
right, we were already tired of hearing it. So at this point now, we're to the point now where we're like, no. We don't want to hear your shit anymore. We don't want to. We're not interested in your bullshit. We're not interested in you telling us how to feel, and we don't want you, because again, it was never about accepting their cause. It was always about, you must celebrate our cause. You don't. It's not enough for you to just be like, cool, you do what you want to do, but I'm not going to participate in that. I'm going to go over there. They're like, no. You're going to participate. Otherwise, we're going to get you fired. We're going to rip your car apart. We're going to jump on the hood of it. We're going to kill you. Whatever the consequence may be at that moment.
Call you everything negative under the sun. Yeah, dox you if they can.
Yeah, of course. And honestly, Trav, you and I know this. We've been, how long has it been since, you and I have been called Nazis and xenophobes and homophobes and transphobes and every ism and phobe under the sun. I mean, it's so
since the 2016 election.
I'm just so numb to it. I don't care. Like, yeah, dude, I don't give a shit what you have to say. Like, I don't care about, well, you're a transphobe. Actually, I'm not scared of trans people at all. They just disgust me.
Why would anyone have an irrational hatred towards them? I think they have a mental illness and disagree.
Now I think
I'm not going to play along with it. That's all.
Yeah, no. Well, now I think if you have a hatred towards the trans community now, I think you're very well justified, because look at the last, 5, 6, 7 school shootings that we've had in this country, all carried out by, non-binary or genderqueer or trans people, whatever the fuck they want to label themselves. This kid who just shot Charlie Kirk, they were like, oh, he comes from a right-wing family, and he's a Republican, a registered Republican, and it's like, he's not trans, and then the FBI is like, no, but his boyfriend is, and they're like, fuck.
Yep. And yes, his family may be conservative, but that's probably a big source of resentment in him, and it's not their fault that he turned out the way that he is. He was indoctrinated by outside sources, and yes, he's dating a tranny. So, what right-winger that isn't closeted is dating a and writes memes on fucking bullet casings?
Well, my favorite one was, they were like, oh, he's a groiper. He's a groiper.
Which I didn't even know what that was until I looked it up today.
Oh, you did? Oh,
and then I saw who it's connected to. I'm like, yeah, fuck Flint. That guy sucks. Like,
yeah, he sucks. And I'm like, first of all, no, like alt-right, like far right-winger is killing a conservative right-winger because he's not right-wing enough. Like, that doesn't...
Nor are they going to do that to pose as a right-winger, if they're a left-winger, to throw their life away, either by killing themselves, being killed by authorities, or being taken into custody. It doesn't make any sense.
It just, right, to your point, so the media, they run with these things, right? So this whole shit comes out, and it's all a bunch of fucking nonsense, right? Like, we're hearing all these conflicting reports and all these conflicting things, and whatever about, who this kid is and what he stands for, and he's actually a right-winger, and I'm like, and as soon as I already knew the moment the people who were saying he was a right-wing, alt-right, groiper, whatever, I'm like, y'all are just fucking dumb. I'm like, y'all falling for this again? Really? I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm like, I guarantee you none of this is true. And within 4 hours, 5 hours, it was like, yeah, none of that's true.
No, in less than an hour, it was already revealed that his partner is a trans person. So it was like, oh, well.
And we'll let the investigation play out.
Yes, of course.
And all this stuff. But to the people that were accusing me of oh, well, you don't know what side of the fence this guy fucking falls on. You don't know what side of the aisle he lives on. I'm like, really, dude? Really? You really think a right-winger is going to gun down Charlie Kirk because he's not right-wing enough? That's where you're at now? Mentally, those are the gymnastics you're already having to do You know, much like the people that are trying to compare, like me not being upset about Biden getting cancer, are trying to compare this like to them making TikToks and celebrating, you know, singing that Charlie got one in the neck, you know.
Thankfully, I've only seen a few, and probably the most disgusting one was by a woman who said, "We can't just stop at him. Let's kill his family." She said, "Let's kill his wife and kids."
Oh, Trav, it's so bad, dude.
She specifically said that. It's like, what are you fucking doing? Like, what
again?
What is this?
I never once wished. I've never once wished death upon anybody. That's not something I do. Will I be upset when certain people die? No, of course I won't.
Exactly. That's how I feel about it. Like, dude, when Bin Laden was announced to be killed, I was dancing around when people were blasting "Party in the USA" by Miley Cyrus in the streets of New York. I'm like, hell yeah!
I certainly celebrated Osama bin Laden being shot and killed. And I think that there are
fuck
people
that guy. Like,
and just because you're a former president of the United States doesn't make you any better than that guy. You sold our country out. You tried to destroy it from within. I have no qualms fucking putting you in that same category. You can call me, you can debate me on it all you want, but
yeah,
it is what
it's not me wishing for anyone's death. It's me not shedding a tear when they're gone.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here saying we got to kill Joe Biden, Hunter Biden too, and you know what? Exterminate all the grandkids while we're at it. You know, no, the people that celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder are evil, vile, demonic, subhuman pieces of shit.
Yes, and I'll go on the record here saying I don't care if they lose their jobs or not. I think it's funny when they do, because these are the same people that doxed me in 2018 for helping my friends not get beat. Well, try to help them out of a pile being attacked by Antifa in Providence as I punched those Antifa-fags in the face. Like 2 months later, I get called to HR, the job I was at the time. They're like, "Is this you?" They show me video, and I'm like, "Where did you find this?" And they're like, "It was anonymously sent to us. This is you, right?" And I'm not wearing a mask. It's clearly me. I was like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Yeah, we're letting you go for." I asked why. They said because you're part of a political thing, and it doesn't look good. I was like, "Well, then fuck you guys." So I don't feel bad for anybody. All I was doing was pulling my buddies out of a dog pile after Antifa jumped them with clubs and shit. So
right.
I was doing what I had to do for them.
You did what you had to do, and that's fine. And listen, and again, I was always on the side of people shouldn't be getting fired for the shit that they post on Facebook or online, no matter how shitty or abhorrent it might be or vile and disgusting. I'm like,
but this is also different.
I'm like, and for the longest time I sat on that, but I was on that side, Trav, forever. And I said, I was always consistent where I don't believe people should lose their jobs, lose their livelihood.
Well, it's up
careers.
to the business. It just sucks at the way it happens.
Again, I understand, and I get it. It's up to the business and the optics and everything else, but that business also has the opportunity to just turn a blind eye to that and be like, yeah, whatever, man. Like, you do what you got to do in your free time. But then it turned into, no, you represent our company at all times. Even when you're not on the clock. Like, no, the fuck I don't.
Well, then, no, it's not true. Like, no, fuck that.
No, fuck you. Like, no, you're a multi-billion-dollar corp. Like, if I work for Delta or Xfinity or NRG, you know, whatever.
You're a cog in the machine. You're immediately replaceable.
You're so replaceable, and that's why it's so easy for them to let you go. But then again, like, why are they even letting you go? Because if we don't start this whole culture, like this cancel culture thing in the first place, it will never come back to bite you. Now it's coming back to bite people. It's coming back to bite people. The pendulum is swung now,
and I am laughing my ass off because it happened to me. So
that was my first bullet point in one of my notes was, is this now a major shift in society where the pendulum is swinging back to the right side? Pun intended.
I think it already was.
It was
with
already
the election,
back this way with the election and everything else.
But this is now, it's nearly horizontal, I'd say.
And again,
the pendulum.
I don't necessarily believe in terminating people from their jobs and their careers because of something that they said. but I didn't make the rules. I didn't.
Exactly.
I
don't.
didn't set this up. I didn't set the stage for this. You did. You did.
Yeah.
And we told you this years ago. We tried to warn people years ago. You, me, anybody with common sense said, it's all fun and games now. But when the shoe is on the other foot, and one of my favorite quotes is, ain't no fun when the rabbit gets the gun. Now the rabbit's got the gun, and guess what? It ain't no fun.
You're standing there like a Fudd.
Because now you look like Elmer Fudd going, oh, fuck. And that's what this has come down to. But I think, Trav, the pendulum has started to swing back now to the right. And we'll see how far right it goes. I don't think it's going to go very far, and that's or at least any further than right of center, because right-wing people, conservatives, are small government, where we want to be left alone. We just want to live our lives, enjoy ourselves, have our politicians do what they're elected to do, and basically just be left to live our lives and prosper to our own drum.
100%.
We don't want to be told what to do. I tell people all this all the time. People are like, "Oh, you're a hardcore conservative." Blah 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 blah. My body, my choice. And I'm like, well, funny if you ever asked me, you would know I'm actually very pro-choice. And the reason I'm pro-choice is not because I think it's your right to have an abortion. I think it's because it's not the government's right to tell you what you can and can't do.
And now, you and I agree on that.
We can disagree on the way we get to the end result, but at the end of the day, we have the same end result in common. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care if you get abortions or not. I can judge you on your morality and think you're a total piece of shit if you just decide to, go to the club every Saturday, get cream pied with impunity, and then
but at the end of the day,
weeks later, you're getting a fucking
you don't have the right
abortion
to tell her that she can or cannot do it. So it's
listen, man, you want to be a hoe? How do you? Go
hoe
out. Go through your
I
whole
disagree
phase.
with it morally as well, but hey.
Listen, you ain't gonna be my wife. I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and not for nothing,
exactly.
But you and whatever God you worship. I don't care. That's not my problem. Now, do I have? Is there a moral conundrum there, and should it be addressed? Sure. We could get into that debate. Whether or not it's moral to execute babies in the womb just simply for convenience of the mother. I could come up with some pretty moral objections to that. I don't think that's hard to do. But the point is that conservatives, we want to be left alone. We will fight back when we're pushed to a point where we feel like we need to fight back. We'll take back what we need to take back, and then we'll fuck off. We'll leave you alone.
We'll go back to minding our own goddamn business.
We're not starting any concentration camps. We're not exterminating anybody. We're not getting rid of alternative ideas or people with dissenting opinions or anything like that. No, because we as conservatives understand that's what makes this country tick. The problem is on the left. And like J.D. Vance said, that this is not a left versus right issue. This is a one-sided issue. There's only one side of the aisle that believes that this type of behavior, and I'm talking about executing people who disagree with you, is okay. And
again, solely on that, because he was not a political leader. He's a political speaker, but
he held no office.
No, he might have had aspirations to do so at some point, but we'll never know if that would have ever happened now. But he never held any kind of office, whether it be publicly or locally, local government within Arizona where he lived.
No, he never held
nor
office.
Higher than that. So did he command a big audience? He absolutely did, and it's so impressive of how far along he came in such a short amount of time, and how young he actually was. I thought he was older than he. I didn't think he was that much older, but I thought he was like 36. And to hear just 31.
I mean, Jesus Christ! I think back to when I was 31, and I'm like, God damn, dude! Like, I you know what I mean? Like, I was pretty. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know how to compare it. But yeah, 31 for me was like, I feel like it was a good age for me. I feel like I was coming into my own professionally, personally, everything else. Like everything was kind of lining up.
You grew.
I think for the most part, I've done the right things over my life. And like we talked about the other day, one of the best compliments somebody ever paid me was that they were like, talk to me, almost 20 years after high school graduation, and they're like, you've never switched up. You've always been the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, bet. Like, I appreciate that because I feel like that is a lost cause, a lost art these days.
Yeah,
And
you've always been real, man.
and you know what? And whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent, like, I've always maintained my spot, and that is what it is. And neither here nor there. It's not, but it's not about me. It's about the man that was killed on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And for someone to gun a 31-year-old father of two down at a rally, and this is where it gets like the demonization of Charlie Kirk in the last 6 days has been something like I have never seen before. And this is where like I started questioning who I'm friends with.
It's fucking bad.
People that I associate with, people that I know, that I've known, family members, and through and through. The way that they have taken out of context quotes from Charlie Kirk in an effort to justify this man being slain on a public stage is reprehensible to me. Like it's unforgivable. And the one that I always see is the biggest one so far has been the one about it's acceptable to have a few deaths a year, gun deaths a year in order to have the Second Amendment stay and be a right. Like that was taken so wildly out of context.
Even if they didn't take it out of context, he's still right.
Exactly right.
Even after what happened.
Yeah, neither here nor there. But the way that the left has now taken these quotes out of context, and I'm talking about Trav, like people you and I are currently friends with, or consider friends, or talk to. People that like I said, I have family members. I have one cousin in particular who is a straight fucking communist. And the only reason I still follow her on social media is so I can see the dumb shit that she posts every day and laugh at it and just be like, wow, like my uncle is rolling in his grave right now, knowing that this is what you're doing. Like,
you stupid asshole.
and he was nobody's conservative by any means. You know what I mean? It wasn't even like that. Like it's just, but the shit she posts is fucking disgusting. It's reprehensible. Again, it's all half truths and it's all fake quote. It's out of context quotes, and you can make anybody look bad by taking something out of context. It's not hard. I mean, I
especially now where everybody can record anything at any time.
Of course, I see it all the time in the sports world where people take stats and they use them out of context. I'm like, no, yeah, like that stat exists, but that's not exact. That doesn't tell the story. It tells a story, but it doesn't tell the story. Those are two different things.
And some people don't understand that distinction because they don't do due diligence and actually research what they're posting. And again, I'll reiterate this one more time at least. That is the very mentality and type of content sharing that directly led to Charlie Kirk being murdered. This constant, before his death, constant clips of him being taken out of context in countless different ways. And that is what led to this side believing in this, having this belief that he was filled with hate and blah, blah. When all the evidence shows otherwise, when you watch everything in full, or at least with full context, because he had people up there that were gay and trans, and he's like, and they were like, oh, you hate me or blah, 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 because I'm this. And he said, no, I don't at all. I welcome you in. I'm just here to tell you my beliefs. You tell me yours, Here's where I think you're wrong. And maybe we can agree to disagree. I'm not trying to win you over and say, hey, you should be on my side. I'm just saying, hey, here's what I think. And they fucking killed him for it.
Yeah, they did. They killed him for it. And that's what I think. I don't. And again, this is the part of, you know, when people call, you know, the right, and they say, oh, you're fascists, you're Nazis, you're all this stuff, and they love to call, you know, they refer to Charlie Kirk as a Nazi and a fascist. Who was the last true fascist that invited people to debate him on a daily basis?
Unfortunately, because the audio wasn't working during the opening video I played, he did address that in one of the debates he was having. He's like, I must be the worst fascist ever because I'm inviting anybody to have a
I've
open
never
debate.
seen that, so but that was in my notes of like points where like,
yeah, he literally said it to somebody,
at
they had no
point
response to it.
Yeah, at what point do you sit there and go, yeah, no, Adolf Hitler used to invite people to debate him all the time. He loved that. You know, so much to the point when, like, you know, when they developed the Sturmgewehr, the 44, that his top generals didn't even tell him about it, that they had greenlit the project because he didn't want it greenlit, didn't like the idea, said no, but they greenlit it behind his back. And then when it was completed, they were like, handed him the gun. They were like, we greenlit this behind your back. Please don't kill us. Like, that's what a true fascist does. And he was like, oh, machine gun. He shoots very fast. Very well. Yeah, wunderbar. You know, like, and you're like, so if that makes me a fascist, or that makes Charlie Kirk a fascist, then I guess, yeah, like, we're a fascist. But again, when people get called Nazis or racists or fascists, that is the sign of someone, the person that you're talking to is intellectually lazy. They don't actually have an argument. They're just going after you personally because in a way that used to be indefensible. Like, if somebody, you know, 20 years ago called you a racist, it was a big deal. You're like, whoa, hold on. Like, I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a racist. And people were like, yeah, nah, chill. Like, you can't say that. Now it's like anybody I disagree with is a racist.
Just because you show one thing that goes against what they believe in any kind of way. It doesn't have to even be a major infraction. No, at least not what should be considered a major infraction to a logically thinking person.
And of course, it's not a major infraction. It's just I'm upset because, again, liberals have nothing but emotion to operate on. So they say, I'm upset, I'm mad, I'm going to call you a name that I think that you can't come back from. And then I'm going to get 10 of my friends to join in and call you that same name. And then we're going to tell everybody that you're this thing. And you're going to be labeled this thing that's so terrible. And you're not going to be welcome in any of our circles. And you're like, and at first you're like, oh no, like, no, don't label me a racist, please. Like, that's a horrible thing to call somebody. Like, why would you do that? Now somebody calls me a racist and I'm like, oh, you don't want me in your circles? You don't want me to associate with you? Like, oh no, my God, the humanity. How could I ever get by? I don't know. How will I ever live? Knowing
how will I live without you?
Exactly. Like, how will I get by without you accepting me into your circle? Like, I don't know. Oh my God. Like, because again, a lot of these people, their mentality, their IQ, their brain development is still stuck in like sophomore year of high school, and they think that like being accepted into a group is like, oh, I made it. I'm one of the cool kids now. And you know, growing up and maturing is realizing that cliques don't matter, and that nobody gives a flying fuck about you, like, you know, after a certain point.
Yeah.
And these people are still all stuck in it. They're stuck. And you know, I always found it amusing too that the words or violence crowd, you know, because that's what they're trying to do by.
Well, that's what they tried saying that for a long time. I never bought into it, obviously, because words are clearly not violence. You can say something with malicious intent all you want and blah blah blah, but that is not physical violence. Is some of it questionable and hurtful in the intent and delivery and blah blah blah, this, that, the other thing, sure. But is that assault? Absolutely not. uh, I don't know where these people are getting off and trying to think that that's a viable argument to make, because to me that it just goes against again, logic and reason.
Correct. Logic, it goes, well, it violates all logic and reason. But that's exactly what the left does. They violate logic and reason. They have no legitimate.
They have no respect for either of those things.
None. They don't. They're like, there's 256 genders, sir, and you're like, no, actually, there's two, and they're like, cool, I'm gonna kill you. And you're like, all right, great.
And that's the crux of this conversation right here. This is what it could lead to. It looks like it's not only is it tolerated, it's celebrated when it happens to somebody of note, or even if it would be somebody of less note. Again, this could happen to, dude, Joey. You and I have said far worse things than Charlie Kirk ever had, in terms of what could be considered offensive, quote unquote.
Right.
So this could happen to anybody, and I mean that on any side of the political spectrum. This now sets the precedent that this is kind of fair game, and I'm not condoning that in any way whatsoever. It's just the precedent now is, the paradigm has shifted. It is now, we now live in a world where this happened and it's unprecedented. Other than, I think the only other one I can think of that was this big, that was not on a political figure, is Martin Luther King Jr. Like, in terms of a civilian just with an opinion, basically, of note. It's unprecedented in that sense. And where we go from here, I don't know. I hope it's for the better. I feel our side has responded in the best way possible so far.
I think that's where, like, this whole thing has got to shift, right? Like, where we want what's best for everybody. Truly. We want what's best for everybody. We don't want, I don't want to sit here and have to, I would never sit here and gloat over someone getting shot or assassinated, even if they were on the left hand, like on the left side of the aisle. That's not something I would ever do. It's not something I've ever done. I don't believe in, I believe in karma, and I believe karma comes for all of us at some point or another. So I don't do that shit. And it's one of those things that you have to understand that when you're in this space, you're fighting against a small faction of people, and again, and like, I know, like, one of the big things that came up earlier this week, on Thursday and Friday and everything else, people like, is this the beginning of a civil war in this country, and where do we go from here? Is at the very least, are we looking at a national divorce, and whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean? I don't really have I don't even know what that, like, the definition of that, what that would look like, but
right
to the point is, like, this, no, a civil war is absolutely not going to happen. And the reason why a civil war is not going to happen is because the left is so incompetent that at this point they're just a bunch of fat, overweight, estrogen riddled men, with limp wrists, and they're femboys or whatever. They have
Can't
no
throw
capacity.
a football.
Yeah, they have no capacity to actually fight for anything, let alone themselves. Like, now, can they sucker punch you and put a bullet in your neck from 200 yards away when you're not looking? Absolutely, they could. But that goes for anybody. That goes without saying. But to actually,
when it's an unfair fight like that, when it's not even a fight, when it's taking a pop shot at a defenseless man holding an open debate forum, like,
sure.
like
so,
that.
when you have somebody that does these things, right? That when you have they have nothing on that side of things, right? They have nothing. They have no leg to stand on whatsoever.
Yes.
What they do, and not for nothing either, but like the air has been let out of that balloon, right? The left, their how do I put this? Their vigor, their fight is gone. You know,
the wind's been taken out of their sails.
They're demoralized. They're bankrupt. They have nothing.
Which is why they're trying to grasp at straws and try to say that the shooter was conservative.
They're trying to portray the shooter as a right winger, and you're like, no thanks.
Yeah, but all of his family and friends that have been interviewed by the authorities have all said that they're a far leftist. Like, it's
correct.
So
everybody knows the truth is what matters, right? And when the truth comes out, there it's a non-point.
Yes.
When you get down to it, that they have nothing. They have no leg. Like I said, they have no leg to stand on. They have no fight left in them. Their whole cause is dead. And you know what? Like, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna have a civil war against a bunch of, you know, furries and trans people. Like, they're not capable of such things. And the few people on the left that are capable of fighting and that are capable of actually defending themselves or fighting for what they believe in, they're going to look around. They're going to look around and they're going to go, nah, I'm good, man. I'm not leaving any of this shit. Like, I've got a cushy job. I got a nice house. Like, I got all this stuff. You know, I'm not abandoning any of this to go fight a losing war.
Yeah. No,
like, I can still believe in it, but I'm not gonna
Is
fight
it worth
for
doing that for?
Yeah.
No.
So the idea of a civil war in this country, like, no, it's not happening. Not for nothing, but nobody. The people who I find always, like, the people who are always, like, calling for war or calling for civil war, calling for violence, they're the ones that have never experienced violence, and they don't know what it truly means to go to war. Like, war
and therefore
and
therefore the least capable of exacting war in any kind of capacity.
Exactly.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to handle a drunken bar fist fight, let alone actual, you know, guerrilla warfare combat, which it would boil down to if it came down to like a civil war amongst the people, against the people, and not people against the government and military.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's not a fight they can.
It's not a fight they can win. It's not a fight worth fighting. And at the end of the day, Trav, it just comes down to this is a losing effort on the left side. They've done everything they can to justify now the whataboutism, everything else. You know, they're calling for everybody and anybody. Like I said, I'm being victimized by a bunch of online trolls right now that are trying to, you know, claim that, you know, oh, what I said was reprehensible, like, you know, about Biden having cancer. Like, please. Like, you literally created a TikTok tap dancing on the graves of Charlie Kirk and saying that this man, you know, he got what he deserved or whatever. Like, no, it's not the same. I didn't give Joe Biden cancer. I can't give Joe Biden cancer. I'm not capable of that. If I was, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. I'd be doing something probably a lot better with my time and resources, because boy, would those superpowers really probably do well in a lot of other areas. But I don't have those, so I'm just a guy who sits here and talks. But that, other than that, it's a losing fight on their end. They've got nothing. They know they've got nothing. And now they've been backed into a corner yet even further. And so, and again, this is, and keep your head on a swivel, because this is when they get dangerous as well. Is when these
everybody
get cornered and
out
they
there,
feel
keep
like
your head
they're-
on a swivel.
You know, they feel like they're cornered and they feel like they've got nothing else, that they're going to come after you. So, you know, be vigilant.
And, you know, I kind of felt that way when I went out on Friday to my usual spot where I had recently not recently, like years ago at this point, made the video about me being asked to leave there because of my comments on transgender people. And really all I said was I don't think that, you know, transgender women should be participating in women's sports, biological women's sports, regardless of what the sport may be, blah, blah, blah. Long story. I made a thing about it. Everything turned out, everything came up Millhouse. It all went my way
Mm-hmm.
in the long run. But there are still those groups of people that occupy that place, and my friend was who goes there with me sometimes was had a candid photo taken of him, and then it was shared on Reddit, and he found out about it, and it was just like, oh, these people are here. He was wearing a shirt that said "Proud Fascist" because we've been called it enough, and it's just like, yeah, you know what, fuck, it's like the same reason I have the literally Hitler shirt.
Or the same reason I have the T-shirt with the Trump with the diaper that they made the balloon out of in the UK.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago. Like I have that in a cartoon form on a shirt, and
that's great. You know,
one of
funny
my
balloon,
friends,
great balloon.
one of my liberal friends saw it, and he looked at me and he was like, "Ha!" And he goes, "Wait a minute, why are you wearing that?" And there's a
taking
picture
it back.
of us, and there's a picture. Yeah, I was like, dude, like I'm just, it's funny as shit to me. Like, laugh all you want.
Absolutely. So
Funny
yeah,
as fuck.
my friend's got that shirt on, but then picture taken, it's shared on Reddit. It's like, oh well, this was at Ryan's. They were asked to leave shortly afterwards, and actually, and then a bunch of them commenting, oh well, if I was there, I would have fucking punched them in the face and blah blah blah. Oh, guess this bar turned into a Nazi bar now. Blah blah blah. This, that, and the other thing. Meanwhile, the general manager is a lesbian.
Right.
A bunch of the staff are. Well, not a bunch, but a few of them are, part of that community. I'm friends with all of them. We were not asked to leave. One of my friends was asked to quiet down, and so he did. Yep. But we closed the bar out, and then we helped our friend, the karaoke DJ, and her husband carry out their gear and load it up into their car. We were there until the bar closed. And we have subsequently been back countless times. So, Reddit, you didn't win. And 2, still there, motherfucker. I won the Halloween costume last year contest, so you eat my fuck.
Right, and that's the thing. They think they can. They want to sit there and they're like, oh, we're gonna come after you. We're gonna do everything we can. We're gonna destroy you, and then nothing happens, and they're like,
well, the thing is, they'll say that they'll do that, but then when push comes to shove, they're not, because this happened like 2 months ago.
Well, no, they'll make phone calls and send emails. That's about the extent of anything that they'll.
Yeah, but they're not showing up and saying anything.
No.
And it's like, you were right there while we were there. You didn't say anything while you were there because, what's the problem?
Yeah.
What are you worried about? We're not going to do anything unless you do something first in terms of physically attacking us. Other than that, we'll just talk. Or you can just leave us alone. Either way, we're here to have a good time. Sing some bad karaoke, and that's about it. Keep on keeping on, and go fuck yourself.
Exactly. That's pretty much it, man. Bad karaoke. It's the way to go. Heals all wounds.
Oh, it truly is healing. Oh, bless your heart.
Bless your
Joy
heart,
fats.
little lad.
Ah, yes. Go with the Lord.
Yes. Anything else you want to add, Trav? I think that about covers it. I got through my notes.
I mean,
I said what I had to say.
All I really have left to say, we already said, but it's just a reiteration that, this should unite us the way it already has. We saw how we reacted to this. Not with violence, not with any kind of rioting, not with any kind of irrational overreaction, the way the left usually handles things, especially over a convicted criminal. And in this case, not at all. Just a man standing up for free speech in his country. Don't lose sight of what he stood for, and don't stop that fight.
No, that's the thing.
And just take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Respect everybody. You don't have to like everybody, but try to find
at the end of the day,
common ground.
I think South Park.
And if they're incapable of it, though, then they can go fuck themselves. Truly.
Absolutely. But I think South Park put it best. I don't have to accept any of you, but I need to tolerate all of you. So, or most of you.
Yeah, I'm saying. Don't go out starting anything. We're bigger than that. But if you have to defend yourself, then absolutely do that. Give no quarter. Raise the sails and give him hell.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's all I can say about that in terms of any kind of
Couldn't agree more.
having to take care of yourselves. Hopefully that never happens to you or anybody else, Joey or anyone watching. Yeah, I wish nothing but the best for you guys, everybody. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna figure this out. Justice will be served eventually, and just don't let them think that this is a win in any kind of way, because it isn't.
It isn't. It's the only the win. The wins will come. The wins will keep coming for us. Stay patient. Stay vigilant. And keep doing the good. Keep fighting the good fight. You see people who are tap dancing on Charlie Kirk's grave. You see people who are celebrating this man's demise, his untimely demise. Say something. Let us know. Because again, these are the people that cut your hair, teach your kids. Own
And
restaurants.
I do,
and things like that, and allow us to vote with our wallets. I'm not saying I'm not going to go out and create a crusade to get everybody to, give negative Yelp reviews to a restaurant, but let me know who these people are so I don't patronize the place that they own, so I don't give them my money.
I'd like to know that too, and
they're
I'm absolutely in favor of having these people doxxed and losing their jobs if they're saying something truly disgusting as celebrating the assassination. Especially if they're in a position within healthcare or education, get them the fuck
dealing
right
with
out.
kids and people who are vulnerable. Absolutely.
Or say you have to go to the hospital for something. Oh, this ER nurse or doctor finds out you're conservative somehow or some way, or recognizes you because of it. Who's to say they wouldn't give you proper treatment or what have you? The implications are too vast, and they're too petty to not do it, because it's already being shown. These people in these fields are already being fired for it. So what's fair is fair to me. They did this to us. Now it's happening to you, and for an actually good reason. Yeah, so you fucks reap what you sow. The pendulum is swung, or is now, like I said, completely horizontal in one direction. So when it comes back down, it's coming down with all its weight. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And that,
one
and
way
that's
or another.
And regardless, we've got 2028. 2026 midterms to look forward to. We've got 2028 to look forward to. Bigger things, and Charlie Kirk's message will be carried on through those election cycles. And I think I think that's what's pissed off a lot of these people on the left, is that inadvertently, by snuffing out Charlie Kirk, I think they also realized they just snuffed out any hopes that they had of having any real political power in this country over the next probably decade and a half.
And again, because they took away the most moderate conservative out there, the most reasonably speaking man who is willing to debate them. They took that away. And like I said, when you take away our best, you're left with the rest. And in terms of our speakers, as far as being conservatives, and again, didn't agree with his religious stuff per se.
Same.
But overall,
some of the worst people I know are the most religious.
Yes. I truly don't think he was like that with his religion at all. He provided no evidence to make me believe so. But that being said, he was still the most reasonable guy that we had out there that was willing to have this open forum with them, with anybody. And now he's gone. So when you take our most reasonable and rational thinking guy who's willing to give you the same dignity and respect and platform that he has, you take away our innate ability or to treat you in kind when you disrespect us. So giddy up.
I mean, well put. Well put. Well put. Not much else I can add to that. It's just at the end of the day, don't be a piece of shit.
That's all.
It's kind of what it comes down to. And that's and again, that's very, could be subjective, because people might think I'm a piece of shit for things I have said in the past and done in the past. But one thing I can say is I've never gone so far as to celebrate the assassination of somebody. So I've got that going for me. So and again,
brother.
And this is a wake up call to all my friends that I've been trying to, that have been, kind of apolitical and on the fence over the years, where I've always said, this is what the left is doing. This is what they're coming for. This is what they're going to do. They're going to come for you. Like, trust, it's only a matter of time. They come for all of us. They're going to try to get all of us.
I've been saying it for years as well.
There is no echo. The only echo chamber they want is their echo chamber. So they don't want me to live in a right-wing echo chamber where I can sit there and talk to other right-wingers. No. They don't want us to exist. The only way for them to succeed is for us to exist. I'm pretty sure that's called communism or socialism or whatever you want to label it, but whatever. But they want you dead. They wanted Charlie Kirk dead. He's now deceased. Now, we've gotten to a point now where we've all got to sit here and look in the mirror and go, and again, tell my leftist friends that I said, they were like, it's never going to happen. It's never, that's crazy. You're crazy. Here we are. We're living it now. Now do you see what I've been saying this whole time?
Yeah, and if having been called a fascist a number of times, if shooting somebody and killing them, literally for having free speech, open debates, while doing so, isn't fascism, then what the fuck are we talking about here? Like, you don't know the true definition of fascism then, and again, pendulum swinging, they are now on that side of the they are the ones silencing people for having a differing opinion. And it's scary, but yeah, we just gotta keep that torch alight and just keep moving forward. Things won't be easy, but they can get better, I believe.
I think that listen, I think I always joke and say, like, it gets worse before it gets worse. I think it's finally gotten worse. Like, I think if we haven't cratered out, we're really, really close to cratering out at rock bottom, and I feel like from here we can only kind of go up.
Well, the one thing I'll only bring this up because I had somebody bring it up to me before, like 2 weeks ago. They're like, well, I reached rock bottom, but you can only go up from there. And I was like, no, it's possible to still be at rock bottom and move laterally within it. Like, you're just at a different point in rock bottom.
We could still just be dragging across the bottom and get.
Yeah, you're still on the bottom, but you're moving, horizontally.
Right.
So to speak.
But it is what it is.
Yes, I do think we will heal. We will get better. It's just we have to cut through the noise, cut through the static, and one side, that being the left, really has to open their eyes and accept reality instead of being in this echo chamber, this liberal hive mind, where they just take everything that is said on their side at face value. And now it leads to this, because that is, I'm convinced, directly what caused this to happen.
Agreed.
Everything being taken out of context, them believing it, and then it being perpetuated by that side over and over ad nauseum.
And you've got people like The View and
yes,
these
doesn't
pundits, help. These pundits on CNN, whether it's Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon or whomever, like all these people pushing this nonsense in this mainstream media. The blood is on their hands, in my opinion, when it comes to Charlie Kirk. They are the ones that help further this agenda. They're the ones that help further this nonsense and have pushed people into what they felt was a corner that the only way they can get out of is by sucker punching people when they're not looking. So here we are again. It's a fight. It's a street fight. It's not fair, and unfortunately, we're the ones that usually take the high road here, and we get shit on because of it. But at the end of the day, at least we can go to bed knowing that we did the right thing.
Couldn't say it better myself there. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, what else can we do right now? Yeah, last thing I'll say to everybody, take care of yourselves. Hug everybody that you love every day. And, yeah, keep up the good fight. That's all I can say about it right now. We'll be back next week with a hopefully more lighthearted episode. I think we went pretty in depth on this right now. If there's any updates come next week, we'll be sure to share them here on the show as well. But yeah, back to usual business next week. I think, Joey. Am I right?
Yeah, I think we got a South Park episode coming up. We're going to talk about.
Sure.
We got a bunch of shit that we're going to get into. So we'll do all our usual. I'll give you my review on season 2 of Twisted Metal, and everything else, which I loved. By the way, you were right; it did finish in that kind of awkward, like that's it way, but it worked for me.
Not bad,
so,
just like I was just kind of like, huh?
Okay.
They kind of rushed through a lot of all right.
Yep, but it was good, so I liked it. But we'll get into that next week. We'll get into South Park next week. We'll do our usual banter and our nonsense, go back and forth about whatever it is that we're doing. So good shit tonight, Trav. Appreciate you doing the show.
Appreciate you too, man. Again, love your brother. Yeah. And
this one's for Charlie.
You take care. This one's for Charlie. God damn it.
Till next week, bud.
Later. And later,
Peace.
folks.
Peace.